quite frankly, are the mind share behind a lot of these great products. We're about to hear from, of course, Dr. Maxey and Joel Rocco, and I'll introduce both of those gentlemen here in a second. I just wanted to take a few moments and thank all of you guys for coming out. We know that some of you have traveled very far to hear these things, and we take that responsibility we have to deliver these messages to you very seriously. We will do everything we can, and of course we'll stick around to answer any questions that we can for you on these products for as long as we possibly can. So, without further ado, let's kick this thing off. And let me introduce to you this chairman of our Scientific Advisory Council, Dr. Randall Maxey. He is a specialist in nephrology, has many, many years of practice. Many of you know him from Southern California. He has toured all over the world and spoke to individuals. Dr. Maxey, you need no introduction, but here you go.
Thank you. There have been some good sessions today, and I saw a lot of people who want to become diamonds. Is that true?
Yeah!
Well, there's one thing about becoming a diamond, and that's called being healthy enough and living long enough to enjoy it. Wouldn't it be something if you got ready to walk across the stage as a diamond and you just fell out? That wouldn't be much fun, would it? I want to give you a test. How many people here either have or know somebody who has high blood pressure? Raise your right hand and leave it up. Leave it up. How many people either have or know somebody who has diabetes? Raise your left hand and hold it up. Look around the room. Look around the room. Okay? You put them down. Here's the second question to the test. What is the very first symptom of people who have a heart attack? Anybody tell me?
Sudden death.
What is it?
Death.
Oh, you heard me before. You're not supposed to know that. Act like you don't know it. But it is. It's sudden death. You wake up dead. You know? So if you wake up in the ICU or the emergency room, you are one of the lucky ones. What I like about Agel, there's nothing that Agel has that is a medicine. There's nothing that Agel has that is a drug. But everything that Agel has, along with a healthy lifestyle, will help you improve your chances of a long, healthy life. Is that right? Yes. So that's what we want to talk about. I can tell you that the leading cause of death in the world, but in the United States, is cardiovascular disease. Cardio meaning heart, vascular meaning blood vessels. Your blood vessels are very important, so when they get sick, it's a bad thing. I've got a friend of mine who said, "What did you do so bad that your heart attacked you?" You know, you had to do something bad, and it's probably how you ate. You know, we're all concerned, and there's been a lot of debate and stuff going on in the United Nations, and we talked about the 3,500 people who died, unfortunately, on 9/11 when those two buildings went down. But did you know that every single 24 hours, 3,500 people die in this country alone from cardiovascular disease? 3,500. There's somebody dying every few seconds, and we don't want it to be us. So we can know that there's a lot of attention paid all over to cardiovascular disease. And does Agel have products for that?
Yes.
Absolutely they do. Now, they're not medications. They won't treat it, but if you use those medications along with a good, healthy lifestyle, then that would be something that would be very good. I chose to talk about high blood pressure. And the reason I want to talk about high blood pressure is because it lets me talk about everything else that we have to talk about. So, I want to talk about the clinical applications of Agel products. Now, first I want to tell you that nothing is a drug, nothing is a medicine, nothing is a cure. But these are adjuncts that will help you get ahead in your life as an individual and as a distributor and team member for Agel. So the clinical applications. Now, one of the first things you have to do, now I walked down those steps very carefully. In Thailand I fell down. So I made sure I could see the steps. Well, one of the first things that this company did that impressed me is that they created something called, what kind of technology? Suspension gel.
Technology.
Now, we know that God created fruit, and that's why he gave you an opposing thumb, so you could reach up in trees and pull off fruit. But when you're in New York City or Las Vegas, there's not many fruit trees around. So what you can do is reach in your pocket, your purse, and pull out that fruit in that package, because it's pretty close to being like a fruit, okay, with the suspension gel, because it's got the nutrition, it's got the substance that releases it slowly, and it's healthy itself. That's a suspension gel. So that's like Agel fruit. And that is something that's very good, because we know that fruit is something that we all need, and it's very healthy. And more recently, and once I go through this talk, the genius of Joel is going to tell you about the new type of what I'm going to call a desiccated or a dry suspension gel that your own saliva turns into a suspension gel to deliver the new technology with the strips. So there are a lot of advantages to that we're going to let him cover. And then these are our fruits on the fruit tree. And of course my favorite is the XO, because I like grape. And I haven't had a grape soda now in almost 3 years, because I can just, every time I get an urge, I just take an XO. So we want to understand high blood pressure and type 2 diabetic nephropathy. And the reason we want to do that is because this is what kills almost everybody. You don't have to have diabetes to die from it. A lot of things. So we're going to talk about these things. First of all, we know that it's a very large problem. Over 66 million people in this country alone who have high blood pressure. But half of them don't know it, and most of them are not treated for it. Now, unfortunately, a lot of times people think that high blood pressure is when your pressure is 2 million over 1 million. But it's really high if it's only 135 over 85. That has doubled your chance of dying at just 135 over 85. That sounds normal, doesn't it? A normal blood pressure is somewhere between 115 and 120 over 75. If your pressure is higher than that, it's like banging your head against that wall very softly for 20 years. It's going to hurt after a while. So blood pressure is one of the most dangerous things there, and most people don't feel it and don't know it. It's called the silent killer. Now, there's a residual lifetime. Is anybody in here older than me? I'm 29. I really am. But you have a lifetime risk of high blood pressure. You could have been healthy all of your life, look like Superman, but there's a 90+% chance if you live past the age of 50 that you will get hypertension. So this is relevant to everybody. So there's not very much treatment. Now, this particular slide says that 2 out of 3 adults do not have controlled high blood pressure.